Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guide. Thanks very much for joining me this evening. First of all, let me apologise for the way I sound at the minute. I've just kind of started recovering from having the flu, so I'm still a little bit bunged up. So I apologise for that. But anyway, as you can see, if you follow me on Twitter and Facebook, you'll see that a couple of weeks ago, I think it is now, I got this set of Prismacolor Premier 150. This is the largest set that Prismacolor do. Now, I've already had a 72 tin set of Prismacolor, and to be quite honest with you, I've been quite critical of Prismacolor Premier pencils over the year and a half, 2 years that I've been making videos. And the reason for that has just been plainly because, well, it's a combination of a couple of things. I got them when I was fairly new into colour pencils, and as daft as this may sound to perhaps people that are new to colour pencils, I really didn't know how to take care of them properly and how to use them properly, or like the right type of paper to use, those types of things, and they kept breaking. And that was really annoying at the time because 2 years ago they were relatively expensive for 72 pencils, especially for someone like myself who was new to colour pencils and up until that point hadn't spent more than £5 on a set of felt tips or colour pencils. So the first 72 set that I got, I had major issues with them. They nearly all broke. In fact, I think there was only like about 10 of them or something like that that didn't break right out of the box as soon as I was sharpening them without anything. And so I actually put that down to, I went online, had a little research around and found out lots of different things. And I put that down to perhaps maybe the way they came in the post and stuff like that. Maybe they got battered about. So I purchased another 72 set a little bit after that. Gave them another go and had similar problems, but it wasn't quite as bad as the first set. So the years have gone on, or the year and a half has gone on. I've reviewed many pencils, and I thought to myself that I would come back to the Prismacolor Premier and really try and give them a fair and critical review, exactly the same as all the other reviews that I give pencils, and hopefully put a few things right. So as you can see, I've got the 150 set, like I said, and I'm not going to go over things like the dimensions of the pencil or anything like that. I'll put that all down in the written review. You can go across and see that. Same as the sets and the cost of them and stuff like that. All that information I'll put down because I don't think there's anything I can say about the Prismacolor Premier that hasn't already been said to death. But what I am going to do is, as you can see, these pencils are brand new. I haven't touched any of them. Sorry, with the exception of one, which I sharpened just for the purposes of close-up photographs. But as you can see here, I'm just moving some of these over for you. As you can see here, what I'm going to do is I have a range of sharpeners because sharpening is the biggest problem with these pencils and them breaking and things like that. So that's what I'm going to do on this review. Now, I'm not going to sharpen every single pencil or anything like that, but I'm going to randomly select pencils from each set and sharpen them with different sharpeners and see how they fare after they've been sharpened. So I know this might be a little bit boring for you, but it's actually quite important. I hear a lot of people saying, what am I supposed to do with my Prismacolors? How am I sharpening them wrong? Am I using the wrong sharpener? That type of thing. And I've never really seen a video that's been dedicated to how to sharpen these things as soon as they first come out of the box. So let me just first of all show you something. And I don't know whether this is one of the reasons why they break a lot. as you can see here, this one here is how the Prismacolor Premier pencils come when they first come to you. In fact, actually, I think, no, yeah, this is how they come. And obviously, when they sharpen, then you have this big point on them. Now, I've never used the Prismacolor Premier sharpener that Prismacolor recommend you use. So I'm not too sure whether they have any special slot for sharpening them. But I always thought that keeping this size of a core on the pencil might have been the answer to preventing them from breaking. Perhaps Prismacolor made this short because of how soft the core is, and obviously the longer that the core is, the more likelihood it is of breaking. But it's not just that. Lots of other people have said about the barrels being cracked down the side and stuff like that, or the entire cores coming out. Now, what I can tell you about this set is I've gone through every single pencil in this set and had a look, you know, just by turning them like this. Not one of these pencils has a crack down the side, so that's excellent. But what I will show you is, and I don't know whether this will have any significance on whether they sharpen well, whether they're going to break or anything like that. If you have a look at this end, you can see there, and it's very small, it's very minute, it may not have anything at all to do with the way these pencils perform. But you can see there that the core, it doesn't look like it's filled in. It looks like, you know, when they've been putting the wax in, that it's got bubbles in it or something like that, or it's not been compacted in there properly. And another thing as well is, if you look there, you can see that it's not centered. Now, I know that that is a big problem, and a lot of proper color pencil artists, like Cynthia Knox and Lisa from Lacquerie Fine Art and Wendy Lane and Sheldini, and big color pencil artists like this, they've all commented on the fact that the core should be right down the middle, should be centered. And if it's centered, then that's when you sharpen it, it's going to be fine. But when it's not centered like this, it's going to cause problems. So anyway, let's get on with it, right? So the sharpeners that I've used is this M&R sharpener. Don't know whether you can see it there. And I've put a brand new blade in it, okay? I have a set of blades here, and I've put a brand new blade in it. So this is super sharp. It's not been used. I haven't used it at all since the blade's gone in, sorry. I have one of these comb sharpeners as well. A lot of people like these. I prefer using this particular sharpener. If I'm going to use it, I'll use it on like a harder core, like a polychromos or something like that, because this will give it a really super long point. So I'm not expecting this to work really well. I also have the Derwent manual crank sharpener, and I have an M&R hand crank sharpener. Now, the really good thing about this sharpener is, and the reason why I've added this into this test is, I don't know whether you can see there, this little thing here, if you twist it left or right, you can determine whether you have a long point or a short point. See there? Like a nib, so to speak. And that's what, if you look at all these Prismacolor Premier pencils, that's the way they are. They have that short little nib on it, and you can obviously refine the point if you need to, you know, get detail the way color pencils should be. So, so I've got these sharpeners. So the reason why the hand crank one, the manual ones, are highly recommended, especially for the Prismacolor Premier, is because when you extend this and you put the pencil in there, you have a grip on the pencil. The pencil isn't turning. The pencil is static, and it is the blade And I'll show you now what the blade looks like, just in case you've never used one of these hand crank sharpeners. But it's the blade. There you go. So this thing here is the blade, and it goes round the pencil. It goes round and shaves off the wood. Now, the reason why, like I said, that these are recommended is because, like I showed you in the other pencil, if the cores aren't centered, then as you are turning the pencil, you automatically, when you're using one of these sharpeners, you're automatically twisting. And I'll show you that now. So let's get this this pink. I'm just going to set it there. So when you put it into a sharpener like that and you're twisting, your hand, you can see there yourself, my hand's not, I'm exaggerating this, but it's twisting like that. Now, so you're twisting the pencil, but the core isn't central either. So you've got lots of different angles going on there that shouldn't be going on. The pencil should be straight. Now, a lot of people also say, if these are the only type of pencils, these little handheld pencils, sorry, sharpeners that you have, then the best thing to do is to turn the sharpener and not the pencil. Okay, but that's up to you whether you do that or not. So anyway, you can see there how sharp that is. It's brand new, and obviously, you know, a really sharp sharpener is going to be really important when it comes to these soft, waxy pencils. Okay, there you go. So that, as you can see there, has a really nice point on it. And now I'm going to do this test. And the core is still in there. It's not coming out. So that's really good. I'm going to do one or two more using this little handheld one. I'll go for this green one. Now you see, the thing is, right, these Prismacolor Premier pencils, I actually love them. I think they're really soft and waxy. And the style of art that I really enjoy doing is like marker art, like fan art, that type of thing, anime. And some of the best pencils to use alongside your markers is like a soft wax based pencil. And so Prismacolor Premier pencils are ideal for that. So as you can see there, and again, that is staying in. So that's really good. I'll do another one. And like I said, you know, obviously I'm not going to sharpen all of these, but I'm just showing you randomly selected pencils and how they're faring with particular sharpeners, whether they're snapping or not. And you can see there yourself, if you look closely at that pencil, you can see it's not straight at all. It's twisting as I'm sharpening that. There you go, there's another nice fine point. And again, that core is stuck in there. Okay, so the next one I'm going to use is the Derwent. So let me grab another pencil. Let me move this out of the way. And so what I was talking about is, when you put it in, if you look down in there, you can see those teeth. And what they do is they grip hold of the pencil, you put it in as far as it'll go, release it, and then all you've got to do is set it down on a table. They come with like a little clamp that you can clamp onto the table if you want, but I prefer not. And simply just turn the hand crank, and it stops itself whenever it's fully sharpened. So it's not going to like completely eat up your pencils. When it stops, it'll just start twisting around freely, like it is now. Okay, now this is the Derwent long point, and you can see there that it's got a really nice long point on it there, and again the core is fine. So let me tell you this, with the 72 set that I first got, by this point the pencils had gone. There was no point in carrying on. They were all just snapping, or the cores were just cracking, and every time I would sharpen it, the core would fall out and stuff like that. So here's another one. Just going to quickly there we go again. Another nice fine point, and again the core is perfect. So now I'm going to move to the M&R, which is exactly the same as the Derwent one in terms of the long point. Let me get a different pencil here. Put it in here. In fact, just let me make sure that it's round on the... Okay, so I have it set up for the to give it a long point. Sorry. Oh, sorry, hang on a second there. There you go. Again, a nice point, much smaller than the Derwent one, which for these types of pencils I would definitely recommend, because like I say, with them being such a soft core, the longer the point, the more likelihood there is of breakage. Sorry, let me get some more of these pencils. So I'm just going to do one more. Let me just move this up a little bit. I'm going to do one more while it's on the long setting. And then I'll do one or two on the short setting to see how that fares up and whether that's... So again there, as you can see, it's created a nice point, and again the core is absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the setting all the way down just to give it this, and it may not really do that much because the pencil is already at that, but it should give it it should do something with it. So anyway, we've got it down to that low setting. Okay, and that's it already. Okay, so you can see it has done something there. It's but you can see there it kind of caps the end. If you just get another one of these pencils, you can see the difference. It's not a very sharp point, certainly not for if you're doing detail, but the good thing about that M&R sharpener, this one here, this hand crank M&R, is that if you need to burnish with one of the pencils, then this would be a good way of sharpening it. You know, whenever you sharpen your pencil, you've got to burnish. Unfortunately, you've got to snap it if it's really sharp before you can get into it. And then we'll try this comb sharpener. Now, I really don't have high hopes for this one because, like I said, this is a sharpener that you've got to use both sides of the sharpener to get the final point. So you use the left side first. There you go, you see. So it gives it that really weird looking point, and then you put it in here. Now when you put it into this one here, this is where all the problems start, because it's such a soft core. Basically what it has to do is it has to sharpen that soft core. So you can see there yourself the way it is, and now what you do is you put it into this much, if you can look down there you can see one's thinner than the other. And this blade then, basically this blade sharpens just the wax and not the actual very little of the wood, and it gets a really super fine point. Wow, actually it's worked. I really wasn't expecting that to work, because there's, you know, the pencils are so soft, but you can see there that it has worked. So I'm not going to go any further with any of the other pencils. I've done quite a test there, and it's, you know, it's obviously, it can be quite boring to sit and watch somebody sharpen pencils. But the purpose of this, obviously I'm going to use these pencils in a drawing and get a nice feel for them. But the thing is with the Prismacolor Premier, they're a beautiful pencil. They lay down incredibly well. They blend gorgeously. I mean, they do create a little bit of bloom, but all soft wax-based pencils create bloom. You've just got to be careful in how you deal with that. Using the right paper is another thing, and looking after them, making sure that they're not dropping all over the place, because that is going to shatter the cores and what have you. So care for the pencils is one thing, and how you sharpen and what type of sharpener is another, and you need to combine all these things together in order to create some sort of longevity for your pencil, and not have you pulling your hair out because the pencils that you're using are snapping all the time, or the cores breaking or anything like that. My advice would definitely be to, when it comes to these Prismacolor Premier pencils, definitely use a hand crank sharpener, because like I said, like I've already explained, it holds the pencil in place. The blade goes around the pencil, as opposed to the pencil turning around the blade. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a little bit boring, but I didn't want to go over old ground that everybody on YouTube has gone over with Prismacolor Premier pencils. But I will say this 150 set is just absolutely amazing. The colours that are available in this range are just gorgeous. The blues, the greens, look at that set of greys down there, absolutely gorgeous, and all these yellows. There's no two ways about it. Prismacolor, in this 150 set, you get a beautiful selection of colours. You're not really going to want for anything in terms of a colour selection. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Look forward to seeing you again next time. Don't forget there will be a full written review of this over in the Art Gear Guide. You can go across, there'll be a link for that down below. Also, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I put up work in progress bits of my artwork on Instagram, and also you follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'll be putting up updates and little things out on there as well, because whenever I see good deals on Amazon or something like that, I always put those out, or some good deals that come up on Craftsy, I put those out just to let people know about them. And so it's a good idea to follow us on there as well. Thanks very much, and see you next time. Bye.